So, what happens when a powerhouse CEO realizes that success isn't as much fun when her body can't keep up? And today I am thrilled to welcome Carrie Peele to Lead Well with Dr. Lovelle. Carrie is a successful entrepreneur, a business strategist, and a mentor with a passion for helping others build wealth and sustainable businesses. She's known for her innovative leadership across multiple industries, including healthcare, technology, and precious metals, and for her ability to turn vision into action. Carrie brings a wealth of experience, a heart for empowering others, and practical insights that I know are going to inspire and equip you today. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you so very much. You talk about a wealth of experience. Yes, Dr. Susan, because I'm old and I've learned from my failures, so I've failed at just about everything. But I always tell my team, it's okay to fail because that's how we learn, as long as we just don't repeat it. So we're good.
Exactly.
We're good. We're good.
One and done. One and done. So your story is so inspiring. And I think you even said it was weird. And I just want you to tell us, what is your journey? How did you start? Even how you started was amazing. So if you just
Well,
let us know.
how I started very young. And I was newly divorced very young, with two little small babies.
Mm.
Now, Dr. Susan, I always start this out with saying that if I did anything right in my life, I picked the best father for my children. Okay, so
Mm.
Mr. Peel, we adore him, we love him, we respect him. We just didn't work out as a married couple. So, saying that, I realized that I couldn't kind of have that Cinderella story of the man on the white horse, that I had to be the one on the white horse.
On the horse.
I learned that very, very early in my early 20s. I had these two little babies that were depending on me, and uh, to succeed with whatever I started. So the first company I ever started was on 3 credit cards. I don't know why in the world, but somebody gave me 3 credit cards with 5,000 each. And I know today, in today's technology, they would all be talking to each other and going, no, 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 no. And I remember going to the bank and taking out 5,000 on each credit card. So there was a total of 15,000. And the bank teller, I had a brown paper bag, and the bank teller said, you want $15,000 and you want me to put it in this brown paper bag? I said, oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I'm going to buy that limousine out front. And she went, does it have a good title? Is it? I said, I don't know. I'm going in the limousine business. Honest God, the dear Lord looks out for fools like me every day. And I'm a woman of faith, and he has been watching over the fool every day. So bought the first limousine. It actually had a clear title. We started that company, got 1 limousine, then got 2 limousines, then got 3 limousines. Fast forward 20 years, we all build. And when I say we, it's always a team. There is never,
Yes.
oh man, and I am really good of saying, Dr. Susan, this is your genius. You take it. I'm not micromanaging you. If
Yes.
you're really good in finance, be my CFO, take it and run with it. So we built this, it's called Blue Diamond Worldwide Transportation. We built it to be the largest woman-owned luxury transportation company in the South. It's still around. We sold it in 2014. I was privy enough to be elected to the board of directors for our organization. And I realized day one that a little company called Uber and Lyft was coming into our world and was going to destroy it. Because we didn't have the technology. And please forgive me when I say, a lot of the folks on the board had this exact saying, which I always say is the death of a company, which is don't worry about it because we've always done it this way.
Yes. Yes.
And so in 2014, we sold that company and got into the exciting world of medical. It's so exciting. And from then we got into capital finance, in which we support women-owned entrepreneurs up to $250,000. We're in debt lending. I don't want to own any part of your company, but I want to give you the cash flow. So when you have that purchase order for $1 million, I can lend you 100, 150 to 200,000 to make that all work. And the next company that we bought a couple of years ago was in the luxury world of gold, silver, and diamonds. I'm a wholesaler, and so it's all good. It's all good.
So all of them, you are the golden goose. Are you the golden goose, or you're Midas, the one with the touch, right?
I'm just I'm a touch. That is true. I'm a touch, but I have an incredible team around me, and that's where I'm really good at is finding the right people, giving them space to run and a runway to run and prove themselves. And, you tell me what you're good at and we'll find you someplace to put in our organization.
It could be. And that's so hard for a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs and leaders to let go of the reins. You're so used to doing everything yourself and wanting everything to be perfect and holding on. What's your secret?
I know. And I try to tell a lot of women, don't do that. Okay. And the reason why it puts an incredible amount of stress on you. The other is hire people who are really good at what they do and just give them the runway to go. And it makes a much easier life. The only thing that CEOs really need to worry about is their cash flow, their numbers, their sales. The rest is pretty easy.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned a word that really kind of turns me on, which is stress. And there's no way that any CEO or leader is not going to have some fraction of stress in their lives. And I know we first started talking, and I mentioned that you might be stressed as well. You were like, "Oh no, I'm not stressed at all." Right?
And you know what, Dr. Susan, that we found? I think I know when it started. And that there is an external stress and an internal stress. And you, with your zone of genius, explained this to me because I kept on saying, I don't have stress. I manage my stress pretty good because we have all these teams that manage it for us. But apparently my internal stress, especially cortisol levels, were whacked. My renal glands were whacked. And it came back, if I could put a pin in it, it came back in 2020, December 26th. I got COVID just like everybody else, right? It was a very easy week, really, with COVID. Very easy. And on Saturday, I was like an 8 out of 10, man. I was there like, yes, we got this. And then Sunday, bam, the basement. I had rebound COVID, as they say. That week, I had IVs dripping through me. I was a mess. And my body was going through one hardship for that particular week. And that is when I noticed I'm waking up every night at 2:00. Why is it 2:00? I'm waking up. I'm realizing I'm putting a little weight on my belly here. Oh no. Okay. That I'm having these 4:00. Oh my God, let me just go to sleep somewhere, find a dark corner. It's my energy level. And that's when I came to you, Dr. Susan. I said, there's something just not quite right. The internal and the external are not syncing.
Are not matching up.
And you suggested the Dutch test. You said, and in fact, we laugh about it today. And you said, I'm going to test you. And I'm there like, another test. And you said, Carrie, if I test, I don't have to guess. And I'm going like, Makes sense.
There it
I
is.
just, I just
Knowing
want,
those numbers,
I
knowing
just,
those numbers.
I just wanted you to say, "Oh, here's the miracle," and I'm homeopathic. You and I are on the same page here with that.
Mhm.
I want to be able to do something with supplements, with something, with my food, with my exercise, fix it instead of taking a pill. That I'm
Exactly.
relying on somebody and the side effects are ridiculous, right? So I
Hmm.
came to you and you said, let's do this Dutch test. Let's test your urine, your stool, your blood, your saliva. And we found out
Hmm.
exactly what you suspected is
Yes.
that my gut was a mess. Oh my gosh. The gut was a mess. The cortisol levels, and you can recall this. You said, don't get alarmed, but you're like a 94-year-old woman with cortisol levels just, and you're starting to destroy some of your cells. And that was alarming to me. And I said, Dr. Susan, and you said, the good news is we can fix this. We can fix
Yes.
the stress.
Yes. Yes.
And we can fix it with supplements, no pharmaceutical drugs, change a little bit of what you're doing here and get you back to where there's no lows at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You can keep on going. Um,
Yes.
I'm like an energizer bunny, and you've got me back to the energizing bunny thing that
Right.
and clear headed, no fog. Jump out of bed at 5:15 every morning and ready to take on,
Ready to go.
ready to go. So,
Yeah.
but but you taught me the difference because I kept on saying I have no stress because I've
Hmm.
pretty much so leveraged it all around me that everybody takes a piece
Exactly.
of it. But you taught me that your body may be in a different space. So
Right.
thank
We
you for
think that, yes, absolutely. We think that stress has to look a certain way,
that.
but it looks so different in everyone.
Mhm.
Although when you were telling some of your symptoms, the waking up at 2 a.m., the belly stuff, the fatigue in the afternoon, to me, the alarms are going off in my head. That's cortisol, just going bang, 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 bang. But you still need to be sure, and that's what we did. The other thing I want to make sure that we talk about is that when we did your testing, we started, we got your test and we went to supplements and supporting you that way because you were already working with nutrition. You were already doing that. You were already doing the workout. You were doing that baseline. So you were doing those things. You were checking your sleep, with your aura ring. So with someone who hasn't done that, we would start with that first and then go into. But with you, you were on what, level 3 already? You started at level 3. So
Yeah, I've always been that one. You know, I really want to tell folks if you're a CEO or even if you're not, do some self love. Self love is very, very important, especially women my age. And that is weight training. As you can see, I have weights behind me and
mhm.
all, everything that I have a personal trainer every morning. And that allows me to keep my bones not brittle, strong. I just fell off my horse twice in the last month.
Ooh,
Bounced right back up, and I'm like, okay, we're good. And we really need to take care of ourselves. It's very, very,
yes,
very, very, very important. Um,
yes.
Stay away from processed foods. I eat a very vegetable, here's apple. I start my day
Hmm.
with an apple and
Hmm.
it kind of gets the day started. So if you put those things in your house and start with fresh fruits, vegetables, and lean meats, I think you're good.
Exactly. In balanced performance, when working with anyone, we take them through those 4 quadrants: eating elite, eating the right foods for you at this stage of your life, moving more, like you're doing, especially weight training as we start to get older. Not that cardio isn't important, but we need to keep that muscle mass so that we have all of the vitality we need. Living wisely, stress levels, hormones, and sleep. That's another big one. And maybe we can drop into that for half a second. And then the last is loving divinely. And that's where we're talking about loving yourself, starting with loving yourself, because then you've got the energy and the to give to everyone else. So now, since we are talking about sleep, tell me about your sleep, because I know that was an issue
That
for a
was,
bit.
and you mentioned the aura ring, and that
Hmm.
tracks my sleep. And every day I wake up looking for the crowns, because I'm a very competitive person. So
Right.
I need a crown in my sleep, and I need a crown in my readiness, and I really, 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 really work hard on that. So when you fix my cortisol levels, you fix my renal glands, you fix my gut, I can sleep through the night and
Mhm.
get really good sleep. And again, what I'm looking for is the crowns on the readiness, which pretty much so says we can get her done today.
We're
And it
getting going.
kind of gives you a shot of endorphins first thing in the morning at 5:15. You go, got that one, got that one. Let's
Got
get
that one.
another one. Let's get another one. So, but sleep is very, very, very important to all of us. And I used to pride myself in my 30s and 40s
Hmm.
of I only need 4 hours sleep. I
All
only need
right, right.
sleep. No, and I didn't take care of myself because I was just constantly chugging, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
Where
yes.
now I really, if I can go back to tell my younger self just one thing, it would be self-care. It would be take time for yourself and get a massage, get take some time, a little vacation time, walk away, that sort of thing. That would
Exactly.
be the one thing that I would tell myself. It
Hmm.
self-care,
I
self.
love that. I love that. Because we do. We tend to put ourselves on the back burner, do everything else for everyone else. But if we burn ourselves out, if we're exhausted, if we can't think straight, we suffer, our family suffers, our business suffers. And that, I think, is a lesson we all need to learn, sometimes more than once, but that's a lesson we all need to learn. Okay. So I know that you're very much into the go into a business with the outcome in mind, and you have a big thing coming up on Thursday. Can you
Yes,
share a little bit with us?
yeah, absolutely. So I am always 3, 5, and 10 years out. That's what a leader does. A leader lives in a future. If you're doing what you need to, if you're doing today's stuff, you're not making a difference. So you got to think 3 to 5 years. So I started a company in the document world 10 years ago with the intent of it 10 years. I knew exactly where it needed to be viable and to be sold. I sold the transportation company. I learned a lot of things in that. I applied that learning to the document company. And yes. And so Thursday is a very good day for us. Um,
Exciting.
yes. And so we are able to put that one to bed and start another one. And so there's one thing that I want to share with you is in my world, Carrie Peele world, I stick with 4 check marks on any company that I buy, I start, and that is it has to have low touch. Okay, I don't. Oh, I learned that in the limousine business, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nah, that's super high. It's low touch, low employees, okay, B2B, and high margins. And if you can get
Mhm.
3 out of the 4 of those, I'm buying it or I'm starting it. That's just a really good rule of thumb for me. It works for us. So we'll
Absolutely.
start the next adventure. So we have 3 companies now and an incredible nonprofit called Athena of the Triangle,
Oh,
which We help young women at Wake Young Women's Leadership Academy, 126 young girls. We teach them about leadership. Pretty much so the same thing as believe in yourself, kind of thing. Bet on yourself. We also help women in the world of entrepreneurs. We mentor those. We also help women in the corporate space on how to break those glass ceilings, get through it. And it's all about mentoring the next generation and
Yes.
teaching. Okay, here's what I did wrong that you can learn from. And here's what
Right.
I did right that you can learn from. So it's all about mentoring the next generation. And I am passionate about that. That's going to be my legacy of how many women we have been able to touch in that organization and change their lives for the better.
Absolutely. And that's why you need your health, taking it all the way back to health. If you don't feel good, if you're exhausted, you can't do all of these things that make such a difference to the rest of the world.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and again, I thank you, Dr. Susan, for what you did for me, and that gave me the understanding of what's going on in my body, because I thought I was an iron tank, like I was born, I'm an iron tank, right? Well, this one iron tank had some holes in it. You plugged those holes up, and you taught me that we can do that with nutrition, with holistic, supplements, changing a little bit here and there. And I thank you so much for fixing my gut, which was a mess, my sleep that was a mess, and my renals and all that other kind of stuff. So I think I'm humming along. That's what I'm feeling.
That's
Like
where we want you, right?
I'm humming along. I'm back in what they call fifth gear again. Like, and because it's a joke around here. I'm either in park or I'm in fifth gear
And
overdrive.
fit here. There's no in between. No in between.
There you go. So thank you for
I love it. Thank you so much. And for anyone else who is listening or catching this up later and you would like to speak with me about how you can actually start getting more sustainable energy and vitality and balance, there's our call. I'd love you to have that. Other than that, I want everyone to remember that health should be at the top. Your performance is at the top because high performance leadership shouldn't come at the cost of your own well being. Am I right?
very much so.
Thank you again, Carrie. And join us again on Tuesdays at noon, 12 noon Eastern, every 2 weeks. And we'll be talking about another topic that's so important to leaders, their health, and their vitality. Thank you. Take care.